Uh, just getting ready for another really good football team. We've got another big challenge on our hands, back to back. Pretty much top 10 type teams, and Virginia Tech is the ACC champion, and in my opinion, the best team in our league, and I think they've earned that. They've won 12 ACC games in a row. They've won 15 regular season games in a row, so they've been very tough to beat. Obviously, they're very well coached. And I got a ton of respect for Coach Beamer. He has been great since my last couple of years and going to meetings and things like that. I mean, he's a class guy. He's very genuine, and obviously has done a great job with their program and staff and players and all of that. But they play really hard. I mean, that's the one thing, above all things, they're talented and all that, but they play really hard in all phases. And again, just going to be a tough challenge. And I think they're the only team in the country that's had 7 10-win seasons in a row. So very consistent in what they do from a program standpoint, and obviously very, very tough to beat at home. But for us, we got to play well. I mean, we got to play as well as we can, and try to have our first complete game. We've not played a complete game. We've found a way to win, but we have not put it together yet, and that's what we got to do. We got to keep improving and just stay focused, and just stay committed, to what our standard is, and see if we can play that complete game. That's probably what it's going to take. When you look at them as a team, their offense, I mean, the first thing, they want to run the football. That's who they are. It's what they want to do. I think they're running it about 44 times a game on average, and they're very good at it. Very physical up front. They're big, NFL type guys in the offensive line. A bunch of veterans. The center's the only new guy, so they got a lot of guys that's played a bunch of snaps, played a lot of winning football for them in the offensive line. And their 2 running backs, number 4 and number 2, have scored 10 of their 11 rushing touchdowns, and both of them can play. Wilson is I think he's averaging almost 130 yards a game, and that number 2 is pretty doggone good as well. So they're a handful, when it comes to trying to stop the run. Their receivers are all good. They got a good group, I would say. They got 4 guys that are very productive, and the thing about them, if you look at them, they spread it around. It's not just one guy that you got to go defend. All those guys have touches and have been very productive. And I would imagine they'll probably get 81, back going full speed. He's a guy that started a ton of games for them, and he's been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring, but I would expect to see him Saturday night. But defensively, we've got to stop the run. I mean, that's where it starts for us. If they can have a big night running the ball, it's probably going to be a long night for us. And try to eliminate big plays. That's going to be key. Their defense is going to be a real challenge for us offensively. It's again 2 weeks in a row we've played a top 10 defense, 2 of the best defenses in the country, and Virginia Tech is certainly as good as there is out there. They're giving up 10 points a game, 231 yards a game. They're top 5 in about all the statistics, and pretty much number 1 in our conference and everything. So only giving up 43 yards rushing, and 27% on third down. So we've got a tough task. They lead our league in sacks, 14 sacks. I think they're second in our league in interceptions with 7. And they're a little unique. They play an 8-man front, and they play a lot of robber coverage, which is not something you see a whole bunch. So it's a little bit different from a game plan standpoint. And but it all goes back to their personnel. They got good people. Their D-line is built to stop the run. They're big, thick, strong guys up front. They're 4-2-5 type of a scheme, but the 2 linebackers are both South Carolinians, and I know a lot about those guys. Very good players, Bruce Taylor and Edwards, 51 and 24. They're really solid. They're very good in the secondary. Number 20 is, a lot of people think he might be the best corner in the league. You know, just overall a very talented defense. And then if you look at them on special teams, everybody knows they've always been really good special teams wise. And, you know, they lead our league in kickoff return, and I think they're third in punt return. So another, you know, 2 weeks in a row, we're facing some dangerous returners, and so we're going to have to really step up to that challenge. And, but the bottom line is we got to be sound on defense. You know, try to eliminate big plays. We got to do a good job of winning the turnover margin. Offensively, we got to handle the environment, and just you know continue to do a good job in special teams. I think that's going to be critical again. But from an injury standpoint, Mansa Joseph is out. You know, he's definitely going to be out. Dawson Zimmerman, VJ Howard, and Nuke, I would say, are probable. I guess that's the word, probable. At this point, you know, probably will be limited today, maybe a little bit tomorrow, but I would say, you know, most likely all three of those guys will probably have a chance to play for us on Saturday night. So, but we're looking forward to it. Excited about it. You know, I mean, I'm anxious to take this bunch on the road. You know, really kind of see where we are. You know, we've been a good home team. And, you know, now we gotta be able to go and win on the road, and you know, we're starting at the top. This will be a big test for us. It certainly is not getting any easier. That's for sure. That's for sure. Every week, kind of look up and say, all right, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But it's a lot of fun. I like the demeanor of our team and where they are mentally. You know, they're excited about you know, going and playing in that venue, and we'll prepare very hard for it this week, and hopefully we'll play well.
Is it safe to say, based on what you say about their defensive line, this could be the truest test of that physicality you talked about getting?
Well, I mean, you know, Florida State pretty good up front, and like I said, I mean, you just kind of flip a coin. Both these defenses are both those defenses are very talented, but you know, these guys you know, are built a little differently, body types, as opposed to Florida State. You know, they're not quite as tall, but they're a little wider and a little thicker. And just like I said, they are built to stop the run. You know, with that 8-man front type of deal that they play, and they recruit to that. They play it very well. You know, so you know, but I you know, again, we're going to line up and get after them, but it'll be a physical game. That'll be a big part of it, and who can sustain it for 4 quarters.
Based on their first 4 opponents, is it difficult to get a real accurate gauge on the level of the competition?
Well, I mean, you know, they're 4-0, and you know, they played some solid teams. I mean, it's, you know, you just really, all you can go by is they've gotten it done, and you can evaluate personnel and schemes and all that kind of stuff, which is really what we're most interested in. You know, regardless of who they played, this is conference, you know, and this will be we'll get their best. You know, we'll get the very best they got. And it's going to take our best as well.
Does that scheme, the defensive scheme, present any unique problems for you? Is it just another twist on?
No, it's different. I mean, because you don't really see it. So this is the one game that you know, you have to really prepare. You know, most teams there's carryover in this game too. I mean, they'll play some cover 1 and some quarters and things that you see on a week-to-week basis. But you know, the robber coverage is not something you see every week. It's a little different, and so you got to do a good job of really you know, schooling your guys up on how to attack it and what we're trying to do and why, and recognizing when they're playing that type of front coverage.
Have you seen Foster's defense evolve with, you know, more spread offenses and that sort of thing?
You know, they've done a good job. I mean, they look to me like they're, you know, getting back to what they've always been. Last year, they had some young guys in there playing, and they're still pretty young. I mean, if you look at their defensive front, I think they've got one junior, and the rest of them are sophomores and freshmen. So they're still pretty young up front and growing into their system. But it's just they do what they do. I don't really see any change at all. And I've only seen them twice since I've been in this league, and it's really just more difference in the personnel. And that's really about it. Scheme wise, they're pretty much the same.
After a big win over the defending national champs and the defending Atlanta Big champs, do you at all worry about maybe a little bit of a letdown, or do you think the fact that going on the road to a hostile environment is going to help prevent that?
No, I think they're ready. They're just, like I said, they've been a easy group to refocus every week. I mean, and I think our schedule has helped us. To be honest with you, because we hadn't had a chance to, think about the last game because we've been so consumed with the next game. From a player standpoint, I think that's been good. And then the fact that now that you're going on the road, that's a little different too. But these guys, they have a ton of respect for our conference opponents, and we're in the middle of it right now. That's our next goal, and every game counts. Every single game counts. We've had our non-conference games are over with, and I just hope that, as I said Sunday, that they'll handle 4-0 like they did 1-0, 2-0, and 3-0. Just keep working and stay humble, stay hungry, just keep grinding every day, trying to get better.
With so many true freshmen and redshirt freshmen that have never made a college road trip before, or doing anything different for these guys to kind of get them prepared for what to expect, or just relying on the senior guys?
No, we'll just, the only thing we'll do different is we'll have a bunch of crowd noise at practice to try to prepare it won't be a problem for our defense. They'll be pretty quiet when we're on defense. It won't be, that's not a problem. But offensively, we'll try to really challenge them this week in practice. Communication, really getting dialed in on the signals, and making the calls, snap counts, just execution with extreme noise. That's a little different. When we're at home, we don't have that type of issue. Most of the time we're on offense, they're pretty tame around here, like most stadiums. But that's really the only thing. Other than that, I mean, my big thing is if you're a good player, you'll be a good player wherever. I mean, they're not going to change the field. It's 53 1/3. It's 100 yards. The ball's the same. We put on our uniform. If you're a good player, if your performance is determined by where you play, then you're not mentally where you need to be. You don't have the focus that you got to have be a great player. Those external things cannot affect performance. You can't allow it to affect your cause you to stumble out there. You've got to be focused and dialed in on what you're doing every single snap. Just focus on the process and executing, whatever's called. That's the big thing. Michael Jordan, when he walked into a gym, it didn't matter where he walked into a gym, he was going to play. And whether they were yelling at him or yelling for him. And I think going on the road, if you have the right mentality, you can be energized by an opposing crowd. And so I'll just talk to them about hey, just mentally be ready, for them to yell at you. Talk about your uniform and your mama and whatever. Just don't let that stuff affect you. It has nothing to do with anything. Play the game. The game is decided by the players on the field, and that's about all we'll do.
What is it about that place that's been so tough for opponents besides Virginia Tech just having a bunch of really good teams?
Well, I've only been up there once, and I think you just said it. They've been really good football. They're the only team in America that's had 7, 10 win seasons in a row. So there's a lot of good football teams.